call to order. And we'll wait to do the minutes when she gets here. So, okay. So we're kind of just kind of continuing our discussion, I guess, for our strategic ways to disseminate information to the public and what information there might be.
Yeah.
So
I think there are a couple of things that I think will be helpful for us to think about. And I know that as we move forward, so we have a draft of the strategic plan, and we have shared it with the board, and then it will go to the teachers for feedback. And then once they give us a round of feedback, we're going to do some revisions because we want to share the document with the community based on the teacher revisions. So that it's, representative of us as a district and as a whole. And then I think that one thing the PR committee can do is kind of work on trying to get people to engage in the process when it's time to give us feedback from the community level. And we were kind of thinking that there'd be two levels. One would be we wanted to hit a wide range of people. So we thought that we would have a board meeting where the board has we can talk about different formats for engaging your community. So maybe one board member sits with a group of 5 people and another, whoever shows up. The problem is I'm worried that 10 people will show up and there's 7 board members and it's just kind of like, but that might not happen. We don't know. We'll have to see. So we set it up with dual modalities. One is we're going to email the strategic plan out and allow people to fill out a survey. So those who can't attend the meeting can give us feedback and have a voice in it. And another one is to have a public meeting and a conversation. So I think it would be really good for the PR committee to write a letter in the newspaper, kind of inviting people to give feedback on the survey and attend the meeting when that time comes, right? So it's really important that I think that it's important for everyone to feel like we really are, and we really are reaching out to them, asking them. It's not a leap, but it's kind of like the difference between what we feel and know and what people perceive. And so it's important that we have enough activity that the perception is aligned with the actual intention, right? Because so often the perception is what becomes reality, but the intention is completely different, right? And that's so hard. That's the hardest part. So I think that that combined with the budget and the PR committee supporting the budget and the warrants that come out of this process, we'll talk about that with the annual report, right? And Patty will do an academic part and we'll have a budget part and we'll review that in here like we always have, right? So that'll be coming up probably in January. And then, the annual report component from public relations. And then I kind of wondered about, and Tammy, tell me if this is off agenda because we can add it to the next meeting, but I kind of wonder if we should talk about how does the board engage the community from a public relations perspective in terms of getting them to engage. I just want to see more people show up to things. It's really hard. I mean, it's really hard.
Yeah.
I mean, I showed up this summer because I was one of the for lack of a better term, the poop patrollers when they had the cow patty thing, where the cow poops on a patty and you get money, right? So I was one of the judges.
Yeah.
We were calling them poop patrollers. It was pretty fun. So I show up. The guys are all like, "Uh-oh, we have a problem." I'm like, "What?" Well, they put the motorcycles next to the cow patty. So the cow isn't going to walk around the cow patty if the motorcycles are going off, right?
Yeah.
Well, then the cow wouldn't get in the trailer and it wouldn't show up. So we stood there for an hour and I got to see everybody. It was super fun. And then we just picked the names out of the box because you couldn't do the thing and it was fine.
Right.
My point is that they were, the connection here is, there is one, which is that even with that amount of money, and as fun as that was, almost no one was there to see who won.
Oh.
Super interesting. I mean, we're talking like 6 people showed up, and I'm not exaggerating, to see who won, like tons of money.
You know what I think is hard is I feel like there's so many events for everything.
Yeah.
That's really, I think for me, as I was saying earlier, like I'm struggling to become a member of the PTO at Memorial School. So it's just, there's so many events, and I feel like every club or there's like constantly fundraisers for so many people, things, whatever. I feel like it's just a lot for everybody to get to. That's,
Mhm. And again, I just, for the video purposes, I'm not criticizing
Right.
anyone. I understand that it's hard.
right,
I just want to know what we can do we were talking about the strategic plan, Heather.
Okay,
And
and I
that-
apologize that I'm late.
Oh, no, it's
I hit
fine.
every red light
Yeah, it's okay.
and I got behind someone that didn't know where they were going
They go
and
slow.
like swerved in front of me like, oh my God, now I'm gonna die on my way.
Yeah,
there.
no, we'll take a few minutes late over that. Thank you. No, we were just talking about I think that the strategic plan helps with public relations to the extent that people actually read it.
Mhm.
But I think that what we were saying before you got here, Heather, was I mentioned that we set it up for a dual modality. One is to have a board meeting where we discuss the strategic plan and listen to the community's input. And we can choose the format based on how many people show up.
Mhm.
Right? If 10 people show up and they want to talk, but if it's 50 people, then we might break up into subgroups. We can have like a couple of plans for the level of people
Right.
that show up, so we can figure that out. But I think that we've been very careful to make sure that for people who are overextended and can't attend a meeting, that they can still give us feedback through a survey.
right,
We did a dual model. And we wanted to start off by giving everyone something to react to. It may look completely different in 3 months than what it does today. We are fine with that, right? It's an interactive process of feedback and revision. And we want that to be a really dynamic thing if it needs to be. We don't know.
But that's the common, so like for strategic planning and programmatic development, you have a stakeholder forum with this group of stakeholders, that group of stakeholders,
Right.
and then you have a survey. So you have all the so like I felt like from what I was reading on the timeline, you hit, so from like a programmatic planning point of view, you hit the targets on how to elicit that
Thank you.
feedback from the
Yeah,
stakeholders.
and there's multiple modalities so that people who can't make one thing can do it another. That's super important to me. Because it's just like the PR piece for the potential, say that very carefully, because we don't know what's gonna happen, of moving the 3rd and 6th grade. It's not a done deal. No, these are real things that are dynamic and need to be thought about and discussed carefully. We're having a public relations meeting. You're welcome to sit down.
I was gonna say, I'll be in here.
Okay, cool. We'll start at 5.
Yeah, that's fine. But if
Okay.
you needed me for something, I just didn't let you know. I'm around.
Thanks a lot, Brian. Yep. But I think that from a public relations standpoint, the hardest hurdle that I've faced since I've worked here, or we have faced as a board, is getting people to show up for things. And I think you're right, Maura. There's so much to do. So one strategy to mitigate that is for me to make the videos.
yeah. I
Because
know, I
people
think
will
that's
watch the
great.
videos,
Yeah,
right?
I
I
think
can't,
that's
if they
great.
won't come to me, I'll go, you know what else I've been doing is, I've been going to drop off at least one day a week at each elementary school.
Yeah,
Even if I'm just waving to them, they see who I am. Sometimes I'll chit chat, like I met someone's dog the other day, it was totally awesome. And,
yeah,
you know, I just want people to know that like, because the first time I did it, people were like, why is Ambrose over there and what's going on? There's nothing going on. I'm just visiting.
right,
I just want to see my kids. They're my kids too.
I think
Right.
it's a district-wide issue, so like Maura and Kim, like, we've all volunteered for like soccer and baseball, you know, and it's always the same like 10 families. And I think there's a lot of feedback and a lot of chatter, but there's not a lot of action. And I think, and I know it's something that we've like, baseball almost folded 2 years ago because we just didn't have enough people to run it. Like luckily, like your husband stepped up and there's a few of us that are like, my kid's not even playing for that age group anymore, but I'm still
Helping out.
So I don't think it's just a school issue. I think
Yeah, or a school board issue, because this is really public relations for the school board.
I think it's a community-wide issue that we're facing.
It is,
Hmm.
and it's a sign of the times.
yeah, I wonder, are other school districts, I know you said in your hometown, this isn't an issue, but I just wonder, are other towns going through the same thing too?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that social media and access to information and immediate feedback is it's so easy to be a keyboard warrior and not be accountable for what you say or how you hurt people's feelings or spread misinformation. To be accountable for it means to sit down in front of each other and say it
right,
and own it, right? And that has changed our culture permanently.
Mhm.
And again, I'm not criticizing it, I'm simply observing the truth, as I see it.
Yeah.
The truth as I see it is that things have changed forever.
Mhm.
So then you have to ask yourself, well, what do we do with that?
Hmm.
Right, so it's just one strategy, but the videos are one strategy, because that's the format that people are used to. I've had people email saying, I can't believe you should turn off the comments on your posts. And I'm like, I am not a 24-hour Facebook voyeur that's gonna go on and argue with everyone for days on end on Facebook. I can't do that. I have to do my job. The goal of Facebook for me is to share the information. If you want to talk to me about it, call me or email me. I'm not gonna argue with people on Facebook. I draw the line. Because I did it over the seminary sale, and I found out that half the people I was arguing with lived in Florida. They weren't even
Yeah.
voters. They were just mad because they went to the seminary and they moved away. I'm not gonna,
Yeah,
it
you're
needs
not
to
gonna
be
change
legitimate
someone's mind on
people.
Facebook. Just
Yeah,
to, I mean, this seems like such a childish thing to do, but when you talk about the school board meeting where we meet with different groups or whatnot, I have people from the community, people always respond to food.
yeah,
Can we have,
Yeah.
can we provide, hey, we're gonna provide pizza and, oh, we're gonna have, I think actually they did a fundraiser here before where they chose the best pizza in town, like you got to vote.
Yeah.
Is there some sort of an element of, hey,
fun.
listen, like, we're gonna make this more fun? And then another thing might be an incentive to come more than pizza, but like I said, people, I mean, like, you could go get pizza for, $2 a slice or something, why is it a big deal? I don't know, people like pizza or food. An incentive of, like a raffle for something, and maybe some things might pertain more to somebody else, like how you might get senior parents to come would be, we're gonna pull a name out of the hat and the winner of this gets the front row at graduation.
Oh my gosh, that's a fantastic idea.
So, I
Or
mean,
like a parking spot,
or a park.
like a parking spot at the school for a
Right.
month or
So-
something, I don't know.
So that might, I mean, like,
Oh,
that
hey,
kind of
Stat,
thing-
Brian, no, I'm just kidding.
so that might encourage a certain set of like, okay, high school parents. And so maybe that's not a broad enough of a, you might just get those, but obviously we want to get people outside of outside of families in school. So maybe there's something else too that doesn't necessarily have a dollar value attached to it, or maybe it could, but I'm just trying to think outside the box, which is something that doesn't have, like,
Let's see what he thinks, 'cause he's got good ideas like this too, more.
Do I have to sit somewhere specific?
No, it doesn't matter.
What? No, I didn't know if you had.
It's on, should be on.
yeah,
We were talking about ways to get people to come to the public forum for the strategic plan. So,
yeah.
and
yeah.
Maura was saying like, have a drawing where you give up Brian's parking spot. That was her
So I
idea.
should say that.
That's fine,
That was
I would park.
Or
To come
the
to the
front,
public forum?
Yeah, like we want to get people to show up and give us feedback about the strategic plan, but the engagement is tricky. I like the pizza. We can do pizza.
So-
That's easy.
I
We
mean,
can figure
yeah.
out how many people.
All right.
right, yeah, we just,
How about local groups like Boy Scout, Girl Scout groups selling something, doing something, giving something away, doing the Pledge of Allegiance, things that draw parents out. Of course, then they'll have their kids there. That's one idea,
yeah,
right?
right,
Have a small music ensemble play a piece of music to start, that brings parents there, but again, same thing, then they have their kids
But
there.
it's only the parents whose kids are doing it.
Yeah.
Well, but it's a start,
yeah.
it's a start,
right,
you know what I
guess that
mean,
would
like,
be-
it's a start,
I do like the parking spot or the front row at graduation, like.
Like you have to be there, you have to stay, and then you can put your name in. You know what I mean?
for the
Like,
drawing.
yeah, like they were saying like a front row
Drawing.
graduation drawing. I thought that was a really
Or
nice.
like,
brief.
like, so for
Yeah.
like elementary school, Memorial PTO raffles off principal for the day.
Mhm.
Oh,
They love that.
yeah, your kid, right, your kid can be principal for the day, so that doesn't mean, so the kid doesn't have to be there because
Right,
we want.
right,
the
you just put
adults
their
in.
name in.
But they can put their kid's name in, that's a cool, like. And so maybe to broaden it, so that's not just high school
It's
parents, maybe you have like, you get to choose, do you want your kid, you know, do you want your kid to be principal for the day, or do you want Fred Road graduation? Or like maybe,
Or we have a
that
drawing
way
for
it
different
can,
things.
Jewett will give your
that way
kid a
it'll draw
ride to
more
school.
people.
Like
more
Jewett gives the kids a ride to school and the.
Oh my gosh, that's
and
awesome.
the
A cop car ride?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
like.
Hey, I want Mr. Moore to give us a ride to the
Yeah,
Battlefield.
I could probably arrange for that.
Like,
Have you seen his car? It's
like I
awesome.
know, so for Memorial PTO, we have ride of the police officer, principal for a day, vice principal for a day. And then we tried to do, Kevin and Edvin said they would do the fire truck, but I don't know if they ever pulled that off.
That'll only appeal to parents.
Right,
Right.
So
I was
you need
thinking that
like the
too. We need
non,
something For.
right.
the non, talk to the.
Yeah, we just need to get Ellie Alessio to go around and tell everybody to show up. I mean, that
How
would be-
about like just a good old fashioned gift basket, enter your name in for a gift basket.
Get
That
some
could apply.
donations.
Yeah, you could get some donations of different things. Maybe you have more than one. I don't know if the school district can do that.
Well,
I don't know where the line
yeah,
in the
see, I
sand
guess
is
I'm
for
just
that.
thinking, how many parents would be more, you know, I could go, not that a winning gift basket's not nice and all. But I think it would be cooler for my kid to be, principal for the day versus having a basket of hand lotions. Like,
Right.
it's just more,
Yeah.
it's something you can't put a dollar value on,
It's relationship building.
but I totally get what you're saying, it doesn't bring the community members in.
What if you, all right, so I respect this superintendent so much. He was a superintendent of Pittsfield, New Hampshire, John Freeman. And he was doing some work with his schools around strategic planning and needed to get community input, so he held a pig roast.
Yeah, that one was
Down,
good.
right?
Yeah, that was
So what
funny.
if you took that idea and did it on a way smaller scale,
Mhm.
and you had a group that was offering like a
You
pasta
kidding me?
dinner?
No, we could
for-
do smoking.
Well,
You
you
and
could,
Steve and I
but
could smoke it up for the day.
you could, but I'm thinking like, what if you went small
Barbecue,
schools?
smoke
and-
barbecue.
right,
Sorry.
like did a pasta dinner with proceeds to benefit a community organization, but it's one of these things where you invite the public out, like we have a public hearing at 7 or whatever time it is, but the pasta dinner starts at 6.
Right.
And it's a great way, you know what I mean? Like, there's your community building piece. And maybe then you can have a music group performing or
Some drawings.
some drawings, but maybe the music group isn't even a school group. That's where you pull in like the band from the Kingston Congregational Church, First Congregational Church or something like that. I don't know.
I feel like, when you talk about band and stuff like that, that's something I could see. My dad, you know, if somebody doesn't have kids in the school, I could see my dad getting into something like that. He likes to come to the plays at the high school and
Right.
stuff like.
Mhm.
So that might be a way to bring in other community members.
And I don't think it's an either or, it's an and.
Mhm.
We can have a community dinner and we can have some drawings and we can have some live performances. Like, do the kids do, the theater kids, could they do a scene from a one act or a short skit, you know, like, is there,
Right.
just like some
That'd be
dinner
possible.
entertainment, you know, like a little dinner theater thing and then talk about it. I don't know. I mean, that might be too much, but
What's your timeline? Like what month?
we're looking in January.
Okay.
So we're okay. We've got plenty of time to figure it out, but I just wanted to throw it out for a thought that, you know,
January isn't a ton of time, especially with the holidays, if you wanna get it like, if you wanna get notice out, like,
yeah,
we're gonna want it out by like the end of the month or early
Soon.
December.
okay, good point. Yep.
If you, my mother always says if the social work thing doesn't go to work out, my event planning. thing.
Okay.
Sweet.
Of course, then there's the other side of me that says, do we want to be planning a large event where we have a lot of people coming in for a dinner or something like that? I don't know. I don't,
Because of COVID?
right, I don't know. I know, right?
Well,
like,
messes everything up.
it does, and I don't know, you know, I mean, we're much more flexible than a lot of communities in terms of what we do, and I think that's great, because quite honestly, it's not like we're having a better or worse problem with COVID than other communities that are far more
Right.
restricted, you know?
That's a great point.
So
I don't know.
I don't know what the answer is, but I'm thinking oh, we offer a dinner. I don't know what the comfort level is in the community for people coming out for something like that.
Right.
I don't know. It creates another issue, because of course it's in the middle of the winter time. It's not like it's in June when it can be an outdoor Kingston Days kind of event, because then I'd say, great, let's get a whole bunch of wood and put a car on top and light it on fire.
That brings
And
everybody
then
up.
we can have the public hearing after that. That doesn't work in January, but
I was thinking we do bonfire, but then you have to bring people back inside. I
Yeah.
think you would lose people when you, even if it's on the same property, when you change the venue.
I've been trying to get Matt to let Dan build a great big pile of snow and get a bunch of kids with snowboards over here to do tricks for the evening. And I think that'd be super fun. But I think that Heather's right, and the timeline is a little bit tight in the sense that we want to finish this process by mid-February. So we have a plan for that, because just in, we're not planning on it, but in the event that the board has changes, this is a lot of work to go through with someone new. You know what I'm saying? So we want to make sure that the consistency of the current 7 members vote on this plan.
Right.
So we can't really adjust that backward too much, so I think we need to figure out. I would invite you to chit chat with Patty, Heather, if you have ideas about kind of how to be effective about that. But I think, I don't want to, did you have another item on the agenda that I kind of just went into this as part of the whole, because it's budget and it's strategic plan, it's all linked, right?
There's nothing specific. on the
Okay,
budget, just
yeah.
talk about what we need to do.
Yeah, so that, did you want to do the minutes before we keep going? I didn't know if we forgot, so,
We need to do them before we adjourn.
okay,
You say the
so,
minutes, or you have their.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
so I did review the minutes last night, so I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion or changes? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
thank you. From the budget perspective, there's what Patty and I will develop a little document for you guys with Matt that you can review that goes in the budget book as part of the Public Relations Committee. And you'll get it ahead of time so that you can look at it and make suggestions, and we'll have a meeting. That'll probably happen December. When do we usually do that? I can't remember.
I'm sorry.
The budget book part,
that's
that's
December.
later, right?
Well,
December,
It's
January.
actually more like January.
Yeah, the narrative that goes in the budget book, the public yard
Yeah,
committee
annual
reads
report.
it. Yeah, the annual
The
report,
annual
I'm sorry.
report is due for the deliberative.
Mm.
That's when we present it, or that's when it has to be published for the deliberative, which is in February. So
Yeah, so it'll be December, January. I'll have to talk to Phyllis and find out when it went to the group last year.
Mm.
I can't remember.
we
I'm
went
sorry.
through ISA somewhere. One of the first ones went through ISA because it was related to
The first time we did the academic data.
scores and
Yeah,
academic.
yeah, and that's gonna be messy with the pandemic. The academic data is just really challenging for everybody because all the benchmarking doesn't really work anymore.
Right.
It's super hard. Patty's working on it.
Okay,
Um,
that's gonna be probably.
We would still have success data, like,
yeah.
like graduation success data would still be there. I mean, again, it may be skewed a little bit because of COVID, but it wasn't too bad last year. It was actually pretty straightforward.
It's hard with the statewide testing though, because they
Right.
really didn't have it.
Yeah.
Exactly, and NWEA, there's so much testing that didn't happen that
Right.
it's a blip. I
The
mean, It is
state-
what it
the
is.
state
you
is
know?
just, the state just forgot, like, it's ignored last year, just compared this year's data to 2 years ago.
Right,
Yeah, which doesn't work, but it is what it is.
Right.
Not a lot of- Yeah, I know.
It's gonna
Anyway,
take us a few years to really truly get over this.
Yeah.
If that.
okay. All right, so
I
are
was
there
gonna-
any action items that we need to take away from this meeting between now and our next meeting, which is December 1st?
I think we should invite Dr. Haynes to come to the next meeting and talk about some kind of a way to do the strategic plan piece. Let's have that be like a specific
Okay.
agenda item, outreach. At least, I don't like to do things just to check off a box.
Mhm.
But I do want to feel like we can sleep at night that we tried.
Yeah.
Right, and if people don't come, they don't come, we'll try.
Community winter carnival. Half inside, half outside.
Hot chocolate, snowballs, oh, we can't do snowballs.
Well, you gotta think
Okay,
of stuff for the different age groups.
We can do like.
Stuff for
you can-
kids.
You can do like snowman making, you can do hot chocolate station, you can do a s'more state, kind of a s'more station, if you get one of those like outdoor little things.
have one of those
Something
solo
for-
stoves, you know, with the circular.
Yeah.
Super fun. but it's
Something for the
kinda dangerous.
retired community.
I know, like.
Then you could
Larry.
serve blue.
Ask Larry what he thinks would help. Larry,
But Mr. Clark always had good ideas too. Mr. Clark.
see, the problem is my network,
Yeah, he
my
always had
network
good
is not what it used to be. Right, like my network used to be, I would go to the senior citizens breakfast and talk to
Right,
them
they
there
haven't
about
had
things, they
those.
haven't had
Yeah.
those. Or I had coffee with the superintendent and I tried to get people to come through that, and I was going to have one this Friday, but it's just, the budget's been too much this week, we'll have to do it next week. But I wanna have another one, you know, we're gonna start having those again. So I think that the outreach piece is different right now than it used to be.
You gotta be more flexible, so whatever you do in person, you should also have a digital version, whether it's like, you know, you do
Certain-
videos, and there's a video we want everyone to watch, or whatever that's going to be, just because otherwise you'll miss a group of people, no matter what.
And I try to use the videos to have it be like kind of either funny or important stuff.
Mhm.
Like fun snow day stuff, or like, hey, this is serious, I'm sending a video, it's that serious.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to figure out how to get, like, one thing we've done is we're making it so that Alma automatically imports the contact information to Constant Contact. So that everyone gets signed up and then you unsubscribe, not opt in, you opt out.
Right.
The other thing that we're doing is we're working on setting up software very soon that will text everybody, which is something I've been pushing for. So Gordon got on that. So from a public relations perspective, texting someone and saying, hey, everyone, there's a super important message on this video, click here. That's it. You just watch the video. And then with the newsletter, we can put, this stuff is super important, click here to read the rest of the newsletter. Because I know that what we've noticed is that the current parents of young kids text, they don't, you wouldn't believe how many Facebook messages I get on that instant messenger thing. I'm like, I don't use this for work, please email me. That's just how they communicate.
Mhm.
And there's gonna be a point where I'm gonna have to give into the dark side
But
on
that's,
that.
but
because
that's
it's-
how, but that's how colleges and universities are now. So like I did a certificate class 2 years ago at Clark. And all of my alerts from the college came via text.
Right.
Yeah.
It was not via email. It was like, there's a snow alert, there's a, there's a intruder alert, like whatever, or like there was cancellation, but it's all through text.
Right.
I get both
Dan,
in my
it's just,
school, but-
Dan's out there
Should we do
waiting
it
to
by
flip the meeting over.
All right, well, this is super helpful, you guys.
Yeah, good.
Are you staying for the next one? No, you're not on ISA. Dawn is.
Nope.
Policy. Oh, come on in, we're just about to adjourn.
I think they're adjourned.
Unless there's anything else. we can-
Adjourned.
Thank you, Jared. Okay.